Good morning, children. Yesterday I explained about the meaning and functions of the government and the different forms of the government. Today I am going to explain about the history of democracy. Now, the history of democracy is not the same in all over the country. History is followed by the many countries. Why they followed and what were the reason. In different countries had different reason, like in India, Athens, Rome and England. Now in India, between 600 and 500 BCE, some uh, states like Virgi and Kalinga became more powerful republics. Republics means where the head of the empire or head of the state elected by the people. So in these two states, Vraji and Kalinga, were elected by the king was elected by the people. Here the king was elected by the people and advised by Sabha. Sabha is a group of important chieftain of the tribe. Tribe means a group of people or empire. So the king was elected by the people and he was advised by the Sabha. And Samiti is a gathering of all the men of the tribe. Okay, so he was advised by Sabha and Samiti. Two Samitis were there, Sabha and Samiti. So Sabha means the council of important chieftain. Chieftain means leader or head of the tribe. And the Samiti is a gathering of all the men of the tribe. So in Indian democracy is not a new modern democracy. It is followed from a ancient time, from the 600 between 600 and 500 BCE. Now, Athenian democracy. It is also having some reason. The Greek lawgiver has given first comprehensive code of law in 594 BCE and he laid the foundation of Athenian democracy. Why he founded this Athenian democracy? Because he wanted, what was the reason? The reason was the reaction against the misuse of power by the early monarchs. In Athens, first the monarchs were ruled. So they misused their power. So Celestinians abolished this monarchy and established one of the world's first democratic government in Athens. So here is another reason that the monarch, they misuse their powers. So Athenian lawgiver, he abolished this monarch and established this democratic government. And next one is the early Rome. In Rome also there was another reason. In 510 BCE, the last king of Rome was deposed and republic established. Okay, and after 12 years of struggle between the ruling families and the rest of the population, means between these two groups, ruling family and the population, after a struggle of 12 years, they made a series of laws. It means many laws were passed and they called the law of 12 tables. This is called the law of 12 tables, which recognize certain rights of the plebeians. Plebeians means the population. By the 4th century BCE, the plebeians was given the right to stand for consulship and other offices of the state. Means they can work in the they can work for the country. Now, England and the Magna Carta. The King of England signed. The King of England signed the Magna Carta. Magna Carta is a what can we say? The Magna Carta is a law. He signed, and here the king agreed to renounce certain rights. Means he agreed to limits his or her rights, and that this power restricted by the law, and their powers are restricted means some prohibited by the law. And the Magna Carta includes the writ of habeas corpus. Writ means government order. According to this government order, which gives the people right to appeal, they can appeal or they can uh, claim. If the imprisoned without just cause, if anyone is imprisoned without any reason, so they can appeal to the court. So they started slowly they started to follow this democratic form of the government. Now Europe and the Renaissance. The Renaissance swept through medieval Europe in the end of 14th century. In 14th century also in Europe Renaissance started. The Renaissance was a movement. What is the meaning of Renaissance? Renaissance means a movement where the common people started questioning. Here the common people can ask the question from the church and monarch. They can ask the question from church and monarch over their lives. They can ask the question from them, and they rediscover the democratic principle of ancient Athens and Rome. They can ask the question from them. So in these countries, India, Athens, Rome, England, and Europe, there are different reasons, and they followed the democratic form of the government. Now, the age of enlightenment, 17th and 18th century CE. During the age of enlightenment, the theory of modern democracy was formulated. Okay, and according to this formulated democracy was formulated. According to this, the democracy has few elements: equality, fundamental rights, religious freedom, separation of the church and state. These were the fundamental rights. The American through 1760s and 1790s developed the concept of republicanism. In this, between these years, he developed the concept of republicanism. What is the meaning of republicanism? Republicanism is a political system. It is a political system in which the liberty and beliefs in equality and rule of law. Republicanism is a political system that they can protect liberty and beliefs in equality and rule of law. And the American fought for their protection of civil rights for all. So they can fight for their rights. United States Constitution also ratified in 1789, and he also passed a bill. According to this bill came effect in 1791. According to this bill, the limits of power of the government of the United States and protect the rights of all US citizens. Means here the limits, the power of the governments are limited and they protect the rights of the US citizen. Now the French Revolution. What was the French Revolution? The French Revolution was a period of the political and the social unfavorable in France. During this revolution, the common people of France overthrew the monarch and formed a new government based on the principle. During this period, the people of France, they overthrew. They were not satisfied with the rule of monarch, so they overthrew the monarch form of the government and formed a new government based on the principle of equality, liberty and fraternity. है ना, equality means equal, liberty and fraternity means brotherhood. So they adopted this form of the government. And the National Constituent Assembly drew up a declaration of the rights of humans and of the citizens. So they declare what they declare, the human rights of the citizen, human rights of citizen on August 1789. Okay, and it was based on the American Declaration of Independence. And after that, United Nations was formed to ensure the peace, security and above all the human liberty. Now the next topic is the key elements of democracy. Democracy is a system of government, is the most popular form of the government in the world. Okay, and it has a certain important features. Elements means features which are enshrined in its constitution, which are mentioned in the constitution. What are the key elements of democracy? The key elements of democracy are rule by the people, justice and equality, guarantee of basic human rights of every citizen, the rule of law, separation of powers, guarantees of the public goods and the participation of citizen in politics and civic life. So first one is rule by the people. A democracy is a political system which where are the people choose their government. Here the people elect their representative by free and fair election. During election, the people are free to choose their representative, and these representatives are answerable to the people. And these elected representative form the parliament, and this parliament work for the people. Okay, so here rule by the people means here the people choose their representative by free and fair election. Okay, free and fair election from the different competitive parties, not only from one party, from the different competitive parties they elect their representative, and these people thus decide who will represent them in a parliament. These elected representative, they will decide who will become the leader of this party. So what is a parliament? A parliament is a body of elected representative. Parliament is a body or organization of elected representative which rule the country on the behalf of the people. Okay, thus in a democracy, people are the highest form of political authority. Authority means power. The leader of government hold power only temporarily, as the long they enjoy the trust of the people. If the leader of the government, they want to become as long, so they have to enjoy the trust of the people, and the people are free to criticize their elected representative. Okay, means if the people are not satisfied with the work of the elected representative, so they can show their decision through, they can show or they can express their decision through the election. They can vote them out. They can vote them out of the power. Means they choose another representative. This is the meaning of rule by the people. The next one is justice and equality. Justice and equality are the two main pillars of the democracy. Okay, and here justice means give each one what is due to him or her as a person is according to their ability they will get opportunity. According to their ability they will get opportunity for the jobs or for any work. And equality means here all are equal before the law. There is no discrimination by the virtue of the caste or on the basis of caste, sex, religion, wealth, etc. Means there is no discrimination on the basis of caste, means he is the higher caste or lower caste. है ना. Sex means he is the male or female. And religion means there is no discrimination on the basis of religion. Means if the person belong to Hindu means he get the favor of the party. No. Or the wealth means high standard family or low standard family. So there is no discrimination on the basis of these, and all are equal. So the equality should be justice. And the next one is guaranteed of the basic human rights to every citizen. Here the every citizen here every citizen is get the equal human rights which are guaranteed by the constitution. Some human rights are right to freedom of speech and action, right to equality, right to freedom of religion, right to information, the right to travel and settle anywhere in the country, right to associate, and right to assemble freely. So these are few human rights. First one is right to freedom of speech and action. According to this, the people or citizen can say and write whatever they think or whatever they wanted to express. They are free to give the speech. Next one is right to equality. Here all are equal in the eyes of law. Means there is no discrimination. All are equal in the eyes of law. Means there is no discrimination on the basis of these. Even prime minister also or president also. They all are equal in the eyes of law. Next one, right to freedom of religion. Means here the citizens are free to choose their own religion and they can practice. There is no foundation. They can follow only the Hindu or follow the Jainism. So they are free to follow or free to choose their own religion and can practice. Next, the right to information. According to this, each person has right to know. Each person has right to know what is happening in the country or in the world, and there can be no censorship of information. Means no one can interfere. They get the information about this, what is happening in the country and what is happening in the world. Next one, right to travel and settle anywhere in the country. The people are free to visit any place of the country and they can settle anywhere. Next, the right to associate. Associate means get together. They can get together with other people. They can meet to other people and form and join any organization of their own choice. Okay, they can make organization join, or they can choose to join any organization of their own choice. Next, the right to assemble freely and they can protest. If they are not satisfied with the government policies, government work, they can protest government actions. So these are the fundamental rights. Now, the next key element is rule of law. Rule of law. And here all the citizens are equal in the eyes of law. There is no discrimination between the people. There is no discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, religion, wealth, etc. All people are equal. And even the president or the prime minister also all are equal on the eyes of law. There is no discrimination. And here no one can arrested or imprison without adequate reason. Means without any reason no one can imprison or torture or ill treatment of the prisoners. This prisoners is forbidden, means without any solid reason the people cannot arrest or they cannot tortured or ill treated by the police. This is known as the rule of law. Next one is the separation of powers. Here to make this process, to make the democracy process or government process smoothly, the government is divided into three main bodies. The government is divided into three main bodies, that are executive, legislature and judiciary. The legislature is concerned with the making of laws. The main function of legislature is to make the laws for the country. Or legislature is also known as parliament. And the parliament or legislature consists of the elected members of the government. And these elected members of the parliament, they reflect, means they think about the people, and according to their wish and needs they make the law. This is the most powerful body of the government. The next is executive. Executive, the main function of the executive is to implement the laws. Okay, and this is the small body but most powerful. All the ministers are included in that, in the executive. And the executive is led by the president or the prime minister. The next is the judiciary. Judiciary enforces the law made by the legislature. If someone or the judiciary gives punishment to the lawbreaker, and there is a court that can give their decision. And the courts are expected to be fair and impartial in their judgment. Okay, the judges of the courts are expected to be fair and impartial in their judgment. Even no one can interfere in their work. Even president or prime minister, they cannot interfere in their own work. So the judiciary is the free or independent body of the government. Executive is answerable to the legislature, but judiciary is kept independent of the other two bodies. Next is governance for the public goods. Here the democracy, in this form of the government or in the democracy, the elected people, they work for the goods of the people. But it is not possible to have in monarchy and the dictatorship, where the people have no control over the government. But in the democracy form of the government, the total control is in the hand of the people. The government work for the goods of the people. The next one is participation of citizen in the politics and the civic life. The citizen of democracy participate actively in its functions. Here the citizen also participate in the work of the government. They will well informed about the issues facing the country and how they want to issues addressed the people. Here the people elect their representative carefully. They listen and speak on various issues. Once elected, the citizens continue to keep on watch and leaders they have chosen. And the success of democracy depend on the citizens' participation. How they can participate after the election, after choosing the representative? The people, they have to check their work. If they are not satisfied, they can show their expression by the next election. Now the next one is the limits and the requirements for the democracy. If the democracy is to work, citizens must not only be aware of their rights and fight for them. Means here the people, they have to aware about their rights and they can fight for their rights. They must observe the principle of democracy and they have to follow. The people must respect the law and reject violence. Means here the people, they have to respect the law and avoid violence. And here the next one is democracy requires compromise. The groups with different interests, they have to opinion and they have to be willingly to sit down and they can settle the disputes. Means the same interest. For the same interest, different groups can have, so they sit together and they can solve their problems. In the democracy, one group does not always win everything. Here means in the democracy, one group, one party is not winning always, because India is a multi-party system. So this is the main points, and every citizen must respect the rights of fellow citizen and must they have to dignity as the human rights. And here the people can question and decision of the government, but they should not reject the government's authorities. Now I am giving the question answers of this chapter, so please follow the instruction. You complete all the exercise in book only. Make separate copies for each history, civics and geography. Long register both side. Ruled page 200. Prepare index with date and start from right side page. Write lesson number, lesson name and draw line after each answer. I hope you do not have any doubt. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.